is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman, and guys, here on the show, I have kind of built a reputation of kind of ragging on parents, really pushing parents to get their crap together, take care of themselves, and more importantly, take care of their kids. And it's because of stories like this. From the Daily Star, Onlyfans star's son left suicidal after his classmates taunt him with naked pictures of his mother. Let's read. A teenager says he has been left depressed and suicidal after his classmates flaunted naked pictures of his mother from her OnlyFans account. The 13-year-old says he had no idea his mother was on the provocative social media site and suffered a panic attack when youngsters from his school began mocking him and shared the pictures of his mother. He says he confronted his mother about the OnlyFans account and was told he was overreacting, with his mother insisting the sex work is basically the same as working in a supermarket. Posting to Reddit, the unnamed teen said, "I'm 13 and my mom is 33. Things at school were never great. I'm sort of short, so I get picked on some, but it was manageable. That was until one of my classmates showed me a picture of my mom naked. I almost had a panic attack and had to be excused from the classroom. I ended up not showing up to school for a few days, faking sick. I was hoping that things would cool off, but they didn't. As soon as I got to school, almost everyone in my class was staring and laughing at me. This has been going on for about a week now." The teenager says the bullying is gradually getting worse, and now lots of students had nude images of his mother, which they're sharing after his mother shared a link to her OnlyFans on her personal Twitter page. He continued, "I was wondering how my classmates even got the pictures, and apparently my mom advertises her OnlyFans on her personal Twitter account. Some students from my school follow her, so they were able to see the nudes, and they have been spread everywhere. I don't even have a Twitter, so I didn't know about any of this. The worst part is when I confronted my mom about this, she told me that I was overreacting." Guys, let me just... I usually talk about, the some of the bigger news stories that are going on in the media landscape in the moment, but I felt like this was a story that needed to be talked about. And the reason why is because this woman is a garbage parent. She's garbage. This is a woman that is putting her quote-unquote work and making money above her son's life. This is a woman who is basically telling her son, "I'm going to make money how I want to make money and screw you in the process. I don't care about your well-being. I don't care about how other people are treating you. I don't care how my actions are embarrassing you and making you look stupid in front of the world. I don't care about that. I don't care that you're my son. Screw you. I'm going to do what I want." Guys, this is despicable and disgusting. But it goes deeper than this because our culture and our society, especially in Western culture, I believe this wasn't, the Daily Star is a British news source, but ultimately our society in the West has convinced us that this is how life should be. It has convinced us that especially with women, it has convinced women that don't worry about kids. Don't worry about being a family woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can't work. You know what I'm saying? You can go work. You can do, do a side job, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, be a family woman. The modern day woman has pushed that to the side and said, no, we're done. We're done raising kids. We're done being housewives. And you know what? That's fine. You want to do that? You go right ahead. However, if you look at what has ultimately resulted from that type of line of thinking, is this. Women are saying, I'm going to do what I want, whenever I want, how I want, and I don't care who it affects. Now, to a lesser degree, there are men who are doing the same thing. But ultimately, you look at society, and it's women that are doing this. Just look at OnlyFans. Look at the rate of abortions. Look at women who are taking their children to adult drag shows and introducing them to sexual behavior at a very young age. Now, it might not be the majority of women, but it's a heck of a lot of them. You do not understand, especially, this woman's 33. Her son is 13. If she can't understand the idea of, or if she can't understand the fact that this is going to have irreparable harm on her son's life, he's going to have to deal with this for the rest of his life, all because she refused to just be a decent woman. Nobody's saying this woman can't go work. Nobody's saying that. But she decided to go do a certain kind of work that she knew would have irreparable harm on her son's life. This is never going to be normalized, ladies. Let me just explain this to you. This quote unquote, normalized sex work, that's never going to happen. Ever. There might be a very small, tiny, minuscule contingent of people in the West who want to do that. It's not the majority of people. Majority of people still want that type of stuff gone. It's not work to the majority of people. To the majority of people, this is not real work. It's called being a whore, is what it's called. And I get that. That's harsh. I get it. But that's the reality. Nobody likes this. It's disgusting. There might be like I said, there might be a small contingent of people who are okay with normalizing this stuff. The overwhelming majority of people are not. Just like nobody wants to see prostitutes on their street, nobody wants to see prostitutes on their screens. We're done. And definitely nobody wants to see their mom getting involved in this garbage. We have to be better as parents. We have to be better. Because see, here's the problem. We live in such a society where nobody pulled this woman aside and said, hey, stop being an idiot. Nobody told this woman, hey, you're going to cause irreparable harm to your son's life. To you and your son's life. The fact that she was so public with this, it's just disgusting, man. I don't know. I feel terrible for this kid, man. I feel terrible. Because I can't even imagine that situation. Like everybody and their dog having naked pictures of your mother. Parents, you have to think, whenever you become a parent, you have to think about how your actions could affect your child. You have to think about that. You no longer just get to think about yourself. You don't. In fact, I would say, and this is how I try to live my life, nothing is ever about me anymore. My life is no longer about me. My life is completely and totally about making my daughter's life better. That's it. That's my line of thinking. When you become a parent, that's it. That's all you do. You make, if you want to go work, that's fine. Nobody's saying that this woman can't go get a job. But that's the problem. She didn't go get a job. She decided to sell her body on the internet, which is currently destroying her son's life. You have to think. Use your brain and think about how your actions could cause harm to your children. This is an embarrassment. Like I said, I feel terrible for this kid, man. The situation he's in. I mean, my goodness, I dealt with bullying growing up, but I could not imagine being in this situation. Just the sheer level of embarrassment. I mean, my goodness, kids already have to deal with all types of garbage growing up in the public school system. And you want to make it worse by adding that on top of what they have to deal with? Excuse me. Guys, I'm saying this as a warning. Okay? I'm saying this as a warning. If you are a woman or a parent for if you're a parent in general who's thinking about doing garbage like this, using OnlyFans, doing, adult entertainment, you will cause irreparable harm to your children's lives. You will. You will cause them to have to deal with things that they will have to deal with. There are things that you will cause them to have to deal with for the rest of their lives. Not to mention the fact that no kid wants to see that. No kid wants to see those images of their parent. I mean, my goodness, man. You know that there's children that are capable of accessing this stuff. This freaking video proves that. I mean, he's 13 years old. His classmates can't be hardly any older than he is. I mean, 13, 14, 15. There's children accessing this stuff. What is wrong with you? And we know as a society that they're capable of accessing it. We know, we see the numbers of children who are able to get access to porn at 10 to 15 years old. The numbers are huge. Basically, every kid in this country is capable of accessing it because parents aren't doing their jobs. And no, I'm not going to sit here and blame the government and say, oh, well, the government needs to regulate the adult film industry. No. It's not on the government to help your kids. That's on you. Did you or did you not choose to have sex? If you chose to have sex, then you knew the dangers and you knew that you could possibly end up having a kid. And if you ended up having a kid, that means you chose to. If you chose to have sex, then you chose to have a child. Because you knew the dangers. You knew the risk. So, whenever you have your child, you put your life aside and you say, okay, my life is no longer about me. My life is I chose this. I chose to have, adult intercourse with another human being. I knew the risks. I knew that having a child was something that could come from that. And here I am. So I'm just going to put, my life is no longer about me now. I'm going to focus 100% on making this child's life better. You don't get to sit here and blame everybody else for everything and say that everybody else should do everything for you and that the government should raise your kid for you because you're lazy. No. Your life is no longer yours. That's reality. Your life is no longer yours. You focus 100% of your time on making your child's life better. That's the reality. That's the reality of the situation. And we have so many parents today who are saying, I chose to have a kid. I chose to have a kid, but that doesn't mean I can't have a life. That doesn't mean that I can't, focus on myself. I'm just going to neglect my child. I'm just going to go do what I want despite the damage that it could cause to my child. We have too many parents like this woman right here who are choosing to do things despite the damage that it could cause to their child's life. And it's no wonder we have, gangs in our major cities. I mean, look at the fatherless home rate. I'm not just talking about women here. I'm talking about men and women at this point in the show. Men, these men who are leaving the household despite choosing to have intercourse with a woman and get a woman pregnant, that's a garbage man. These women who are having this attitude that, I don't need a man, and are pushing the man out of the house and getting a divorce and taking all the man's money, that's a garbage woman. See, it goes both ways, but nobody wants to talk about that. That's a story for another show, I guess. Guys, parents, I'm pleading with you. Don't put your child through this. And this isn't the only thing that can cause damage to your child, okay? There's other things out there. You have to constantly be thinking, how is this going to affect my family? How is this going to affect my child? Is my child going to... Think about this. Anytime that you want to do something, this should be what's going through your brain. Before you do anything in life at all, any kind of significant decision, like a new job, like, whatever. Anytime there's a significant decision that you're about to make in life, you stop and you say, will this make my child's life better or worse? There you go. And based on the answer to that question is whether or not you make that decision or not. That should tell you what decision you need to make in that moment, whether you take that action or you don't take that action. It's that simple, guys. But we have so many parents in this society who are choosing not to just stop and think for a second before they make a foolish decision that puts their child's life in jeopardy. This kid is suicidal. This kid has thought of committing suicide. He has thought of ending his life. All because this woman, his mother, could not stop and think, just for a second, will this cause problems in my child's life? Will this make my child's life better or worse? That's all she had to do. All she had to do was just stop and think about that for a second and then make her choice off of that, rather than making the choice off of her feelings. You don't get feelings as a parent. You don't. You don't. There is no more, I just feel like doing something. No. You don't get that anymore. Because your kid can't afford that. Your kid cannot afford for you to be running around worrying about your feelings. Your kid's life and well-being is more important than your feelings. This kid is talking about ending his life, all because of his own mother's actions. And then, of course, when he confronted her about it, Of course she didn't take responsibility for her actions. Of course she didn't. Guys, parents, we have to be better. It's no wonder our kids are so screwed up these days, man. Because we're shoving these in front of their faces. We're allowing the internet to raise our kids while we run off and worry about our feelings. Screw your feelings, man. Grow up. Either be an adult or don't. But if you're not going to be an adult, then don't have intercourse with people. If you're going to be a child and you're going to act like a child, then don't have intercourse with people. Because you could end up having a child if you do that. And of course, since you're being a child, we all know you're not going to take responsibility for that child. And that child is going to end up being screwed up. All because you won't do your job and you won't take responsibility for your actions. And that child ends up being raised by the government. And we all know how that turns out. Child ends up screwed up. Now, there are some kids who make it out of that system and are awesome people, who are upstanding citizens. The majority of them, though, end up criminals. Be better, parents. Please, for the sake of our society as a whole. This is the next generation we're raising. This is the next generation. For the sake of our society, please do better and take responsibility for your actions. You know what this woman should have said when her son confronted her? She should have said, you know what, son? In the moment, I wasn't thinking about how this could affect your life. And I'm sorry for that. I should have had more foresight. I should have thought about that before I decided to do this. I will delete my stuff and I will go get a normal job. Now, that's not going to stop his bullying, because you know all of those kids have already taken screenshots of everything. You know, they're still going to use it to bully this kid. But she could have at least made it better and said, you know what, you were right the whole time, and I'm no longer going to do this. I don't know, man. I don't know. We have to do better as parents. That's what I do know. We got to get our crap together. There are so many things wrong in our society that we could have avoided if parents would have just been better. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I will have another episode coming for you guys on Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we're putting out new videos here on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitter. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.